And we are back. If you are just joining us, we're talking about global market opportunities and how you can actually get access to this locally. Did you know about Mansa-X? It's actually a local investment product that has been brought to you courtesy of Standard Investment Bank. And we are joined by the executive director and the team lead for this particular product, Nahashan Mungai. If you're just joining us, in the previous segment, Nahashan took us through the dynamics and the volatility in the global markets. He also gave us an update of this fund. In the second quarter, it was able to return 16%, and this was in spite of all the volatility, all the uncertainty that global and local markets were facing at the onset of COVID-19. We continue this conversation to understand what next. Nahashan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So just before the break, you told us your fund actually doubled because of COVID-19, which is very interesting. So you have grown, you've doubled your fund size, and the number of people who are actually there has also doubled as well. Yeah. So I wanted to ask, the people who are putting money in, are they from Kenya, or is it people in the diaspora who are actually investing in this product?
They're actually Kenyans.
Wow.
Yeah, just Kenyans here in Kenya. And the reason why we like this is because it confirms what we've always said, that we can create a product that is very sophisticated and at the same time simple enough for any normal investor to invest in.
Okay.
And that's the advantage of this.
Okay, then please explain that. When you say it's a sophisticated product, but it's simple enough for anyone to understand, what does that mean when you're talking about Mansa-X?
It means that, you know, we've used complex portfolio allocation models to invest in global markets and create a product that first of all is Kenya shilling denominated, and secondly outperforms local if you benchmark against the performance of other asset classes locally, it outperforms that, and at the same time is liquid enough, meaning that if an investor can just invest in Mansa and withdraw, you know, after their 6 months lock-in period easily enough, without having to understand the performance of the US stock market, for example. He doesn't have to understand that, but can still benefit from that movement in the US stock market. So you see how that becomes a very unique proposition for investors.
Okay, interesting. And then I think also before we went on the break, we had also started looking at the Kenyan market, and maybe I can now tally back to that conversation. So you said when you're looking at the Kenyan market and the global market, it sounds like there are more opportunities out there, which if I wanted to take part in, it makes sense to be part of Mansa-X, if at least I don't know how to get my way around there.
Yes.
I normally, I speak to many people. I also do analysis. I'm an analyst in my other life. So looking at it, and at some point I was getting to the consensus when I was speaking to different people of this is what we should do. Invest in bonds in Kenya only. And then take your money. If you're going to look for equities, look for offshore opportunities, because the returns there are absolutely crazy. They're very high.
Absolutely.
So how do you look at Kenya today? Is there still a case for investing and putting your money in Kenya in any more?
I mean, it's...
okay, let me rephrase. What's the case for Kenya? What are the returns? Because you have to be able to balance the returns that you're getting and the opportunities. And from where you sit, because you look at the risks locally and globally, you engage locally and globally.
I mean, as an economy, we are still growing at 6% every year. So that means that we still have very strong companies locally that you can invest into.
Okay.
We're just in a very unique environment right now where we have intense government borrowing.
Okay.
And this obviously will reduce the capital flows into real businesses until the government reduces how much borrowing is going on. Because if you have the government borrowing at coupons as high as 12%, for example, then it becomes very difficult for that capital to flow into an SME that probably needs that money, and it becomes very difficult for a bank to justify lending when you can just borrow directly from the government at less risk. So based on that, the opportunities out here, we have beautiful businesses out here. We have very good banks. I think our Kenyan banks are run at global standards. I think they're very good banks, which anybody should have a stake in. When you look at our telcos, they are very good investment opportunities. But then, for us at Mansa, you know, our promise to our clients is to outperform markets.
Exactly.
So based on this, it's very hard to make a case. When I look at Tesla, for example, that has gained 122% this year alone.
Wow.
You can imagine those kind of gains. When I look at Apple, is up 87% year to date. so you see, it becomes very difficult for me to ignore those gains, even if I can get a few gains locally.
Exactly, wow.
Because that's what I promise my investors.
Yes.
But I'd say right now, globally, the opportunities are immense. I've just mentioned Tesla, I've mentioned Apple, but the overall theme is e-commerce and technology companies will continue to outperform. I mean, whether we're in a new world now, even if globalization reduces, one of the things that will remain is a lot of people have realized I can work from home. So video conferencing companies will become huge. Gaming companies will become huge as people spend more time at home. So as Mansa-X, we are allocating more capital into such companies. So we're talking about companies like Advanced Micro Devices, which create chips for Sony PlayStation, Xbox, and we've seen them outperform by more than 50% year to date. Those are the kind of companies that, you know, within Mansa we are investing on behalf of our clients.
Okay.
and we think that this will continue being the theme for a while.
Okay.
And due to the fact that our investors also get very good dividends from these companies, and you know they get dollar dividends, and then back in Kenya you have a depreciating shillings against the dollar, then our investors are much better off. So as an example, if a US company is giving me a dividend yield of 2%,
yes,
in dollar terms,
wow,
and I put that into my Mansa fund, whether I sell a stock or not, and then the shilling within the same period has depreciated by 7%, then I'm at 9% dividend yield,
wow,
not 2%.
Wow.
So you can see how that return, you can't really compare it with the best stocks on the NSE.
You know, it's a very exciting reality, but it's also a bit of a scary reality, because on one end, the opportunities, and this is just not akin to Kenya, the opportunities are not in the African continent today. We can still see the opportunity, last frontier, etc., etc. But the upside is out there. So you're sort of going to get into the space where your governments keep borrowing in hard currency, but then the people in these countries make money out of employment opportunities or whatever opportunities, but they sort of now end up expatriating or rather pushing out the funds to look for a return or growth opportunities there. So I mean, it's an interesting dynamic.
But the advantage we have, and just to on that point, the advantage we have is as Mansa-X, we are regulated locally.
Yes.
Our liquidity providers, just based on CMA regulations, are also based locally.
Okay.
So we really don't create dollar outflows into Kenya.
Fair enough.
So yes, we benefit. Yeah, so we benefit from dollar returns without actually impacting negatively on, and that's the government was clever in terms of making sure that we are regulated and have to operate in Kenya. That's why I keep saying we're a global fund with a local presence.
With a local presence.
Yes.
Actually, we bring out an interesting element when you're talking about regulation, because every other day we hear people asking, "Are these guys regulated? We put our money here and we lost it." What's your take on regulation? And I know you're regulated. What's your take to somebody who's listening and sees so many pop-ups of other intermediaries? What should their key consideration be?
Just make sure they're CMA regulated. I mean, do not invest in any FX brokerage or any FX money manager without checking whether they're regulated by the CMA. In terms of money managers, those licensed to take investments from the public to invest in global markets, we are the only ones licensed. So that one, they don't even have to check anywhere else. If anyone else is purporting to do this,
no one else,
they're illegal.
It's only Mansa-X that does that.
Yes, correct. We are the only ones. Then in terms of brokerages, just make sure that the brokerage is licensed to the CMA.
But what about the global brokers?
Well, they are global brokers, yes, but they have to be licensed by the CMA to operate locally. The reason for this is obviously because the CMA then can enforce, you know, certain actions against them if there's some sort of dispute between them and an investor. So we have very good brokerages out there. I mean, I'm sure you know all of them. I mean, they have good brokerages and they're legit, also regulated by their markets in the US or in the UK. But it is important that you deal with a broker that's regulated locally. Just create some sort of order and also allows, even as a country, the reason why you have locally regulated brokers is that we get to keep the funds within the country as well, which is important as well.
So that's important, at least. That's a smart move in terms of just managing the currency inflow and outflow.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about Kenya, we've talked about global markets, we've talked about Mansa-X. What are we missing out in Mansa-X? Is there anything that we have not pointed out?
I think right now it's very important for our clients to realize that quarter two was a defensive quarter.
Yes.
We expect to go back hard into the markets in quarter three and quarter four. So I'd encourage most investors to, the current clients that we have, we want them to top up.
Yes.
And they are the ones who have not invested in Mansa. Please join us.
Okay.
We have created we create exciting products every day.
All right.
Like when I talked about the US single stocks, this is something that we just started this year. And it has performed phenomenally, and we expect that this is going to continue to outperform until the end of the year at least.
Okay.
So you really don't want to miss out on this wave. You don't want to be the one person who missed out on the explosion in global stock markets.
That's true. That's
you don't
true.
want to be that person.
Oh,
yes.
Wow,
and
fantastic.
then you also don't want to miss out on what we expect to happen in terms of the depreciation of the dollar against other world currencies. We are seeing some very interesting trends that are setting up for the last half of the year, and we'd want investors to participate in this.
Okay, I think our graphics team can put up the price chart return, and it just shows what a 1 million investment has performed like from the 15th of January 2019 to June. So you have, if you put in 1 million in months, then now it's 1.348 million shillings today. So that's just really capturing the return in the fund. And you're saying if you come in today, it's not too late. You can still continue on the growth trajectory.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes, we expect that.
All right, fantastic. Yeah. But what are the affiliated fees when it comes to Mansa?
All right, so we charge a management fee of 5%.
Okay.
And that's an annual fee. So you don't pay it upfront.
Yes.
So this is charged as 5% divided by 365 every day.
Every day, okay.
So it's not a daily, it's not a yearly, it's not an upfront fee. And then the other fee that we charge is a performance fee. So we charge you 10% of any return that you earn above 25%. Okay. Yeah.
And then the returns that you're giving us here, the 16% return, is that inclusive of the management fee or exclusive?
Exclusive.
Exclusive. So that's the net return.
No. What? Okay. Oh wait.
The 16%.
So that does not include fees.
It doesn't. Okay. It doesn't include fees.
It doesn't include fees.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's also a carry. So if you do much better in the second half of the year, then you also split that up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So I think we're coming to the tail end of this. It's just been exciting. I can't imagine the energy on your desk. I'm sort of getting the tail end of it just by you taking some time out of your busy schedule to come and speak to us. So what's your parting shot? What's your parting shot today? So this is where we are at globally, locally. What next? What should somebody do? And then of course at the tail end of it, how do they actually engage with you to get more information on Mansa-X and be part of that community?
All right. So if anyone wants to reach out on us, to us, they can call us but the easiest way is actually to go online.
Yes.
Go online, reach out to us, leave your email addresses there, and someone will reach out to you immediately and give you more information about the fund. It's very easy to invest into Mansa-X. You don't even have to visit us. The KYC process, someone will guide you through it, and it's very easy to invest. And we still continue we still insist that Mansa-X is a very good diversification tool, gives you exposure to global markets, and it's something that is a must-have in any portfolio.
Okay.
Even if you're going to invest in other asset classes, which we don't have a problem with, we believe that Mansa-X is a very good addition to anybody's portfolio. Whether you're just an investor who's starting out or a sophisticated investor, we feel that Mansa-X ticks most of the boxes when it comes to an investment that allows you to get all the advantages of a diversified portfolio.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. That was a very exciting conversation, talking about Mansa-X, talking about the global economy. There's still opportunities out there for the second half of the year. If you don't know how to position for them, then certainly Mansa-X is a gateway of just giving you access to these global opportunities, but looking at it from a local perspective. It does receive your funding in Kenya shillings. You have seen the return for the last quarter, that was 16%. And there's just a lot of energy, a lot of vibrancy just from this particular team. So it's something that you want to look out for. That's what we have for you today. It's almost the end of the week. And you know what happens on Friday? It's all about Ask Mbithe. Friday is a very exciting day for the team here at Markets Today. But we also want to make it all about you. So what do you want to know? How can we be of assistance to help you understand some of the trends that have been happening in the market this week? Over and above that, we always like to extend an invitation to you. Do you want to come and sit with us? Do you want to come and be part of the show and have a one-on-one with us? Why not give us a shout? That's Mbithe Mwema on social media, or Metropole TV on social media, or our SMS line 20146. I want to be here for you, but I need you to be able to engage with me. Give me your questions so I can answer them tomorrow. See you then, and have an amazing rest of the day. Good day.